Good morning. I want to say a few words about the images that are coming out of Lebanon this morning. Actually, what we see is that Hezbollah is coming back in South Lebanon in oppose to the arrangement that was signed 2 months ago. The Lebanese army is not fulfilling its mission to deploy effectively in South Lebanon to prevent Hezbollah from coming back, and Hezbollah is pushing its own Muslim Shiite base to come back with Hezbollah flag, with Nasrallah's posters, with vehicles to take off the barriers of the Lebanese army, if they exist. They don't always exist, and just cross and go back to the Lebanese villages right across the border from Israel, exactly the sites that we Israeli warned from when all these negotiations started. Clearly, the Lebanese army is not fulfilling its mission. Israel warned about it before everything that is happening today. We didn't see Lebanese army disarming Hezbollah, and I just want to mention that IDF didn't maneuver in most areas of south to the Litani River. The maneuver of the IDF was only a few kilometers from the border, and there are areas where the Lebanese army should have done much more in disarming Hezbollah south to the Litani River, and it just didn't happen. Hezbollah has an interest that these images will come out of Lebanon to present itself as a protector of Lebanon in opposed to the Lebanese army mission, by the way, again undermining the sovereignty of the state of Lebanon and proving to its own base that it's still alive and kicking, even though all the Israeli blows and attacks, that damages that were caused to it during the war. It is also a platform for terror. Hezbollah coming back to those towns, if there are still weapons in those towns, and I believe there is, it means that they will be capable of executing terrorist attacks with or without direct orders from the leadership of Hezbollah. I think that it is within the interest of Hezbollah to cause death, to cause friction to its own Lebanese civilians. I am saying that again, I was not mistaken. It's within the interest of Hezbollah to cause damages, to cause death, to cause friction for the Lebanese civilians and the IDF, and that way to present the IDF as a force that shouldn't be in Lebanon. And I think we should not fall into the fake message of Hezbollah, because Hezbollah is causing to this friction, violating the very basic idea of all the arrangements since 2006 that said very clearly that Hezbollah is not supposed to be in South Lebanon. Up until October 7th, Lebanese civilians, and I deliberately do it like that, went all the way to the fence, taking photos of us, taking photos of the IDF movements, building watching towers. These were not civilians. These were Hezbollah military operatives that sometimes were carrying guns and sometimes not, and sometimes hiding the guns below the jackets. We cannot afford these sites to happen again, because we know that these were meant to prepare for an invasion. Hezbollah was fully prepared for an invasion, October 7th style, back then in October 2023. And that's why Israelis insist that these sites will not repeat themselves, and insist that the Lebanese armed forces will do what it promised to do. So what could be done now? I have like 3 suggestions, and I believe there are more. If we focus for a moment in the area south to the Litani River, I want to see the Lebanese army proving that it can effectively enforce the resolutions and disarming Hezbollah. The Lebanese army published one photo of very few rockets, which contradicted to the huge amount of munition that IDF pulled out of Lebanon. I want to see much more. Second, the Lebanese government must stop the flow of the money to Hezbollah. The banks of Hezbollah are still active in Lebanon. The Lebanese government must close those banks. And third, A prime minister was nominated. Now his mission is to compose a government. This government cannot include Hezbollah anymore. It's not an option that ministers of Hezbollah will be members of this government, and at the same time, the Lebanese army should enforce disarming Hezbollah in South Lebanon. It is clear that it will never happen. So there is much to be done. There is a lot of work. I hope that Israelis will not pay with their security to wait for these processes to move forward. Thank you.